I see a lot of Indian classical influences as well on that. Yeah. Where you it's Rag Desh coming in a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. But like I find it strange. Like how did you have the influence of Indian classical as well on you? Like how
I think see, I look at it. It's all just music, right? So. In our
did you learn it somewhere?
No.
So you just...
It's just by ear. I mean, whatever little I've been
beautiful.
able to absorb of Indian music, listening to it. And the thing about Indian music should come naturally to every musician who live here.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
It's a found sound, and you just got to step outside your house, you hear it
I
all
think
the
it's
time.
as natural as, staying in a place and picking up the language of that place.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah. So you think that way you have also incorporated Indian folk influences also onto your folk and classical influences also onto the sound and the diction, maybe a little bit,
Like if you look at the song we just did, like Motionless Flame of a Lamp, and
into the writing as well. Maybe.
Yeah, in the writing, it's basically inspired by the kind of mystical traditions that are common to most of the religions in India, for one. Right.
So that's why you
so the sound
Maya.
Maya. So I think sound seems to also follow the lyric in some way. When you're writing about something, you tend to almost automatically reach for the correct sound for that sort of.
Absolutely.
Not that you want to do it very consciously, that you want to put in a raga or incorporate it that way, It's not very forced.
Yeah.
It just comes naturally.
Naturally. Whatever comes naturally, that way. Now, I'll ask both of you, like, Cassini's division has been through this decade and through so many events, so many ups and downs and all of
More
that.
More downs, I would say, yeah.
Yeah, and surviving it for almost 10 years. So, do you have the same set of members when you started off with? No.
No. See, we had two of the original members left within 1.5 years.
So after that, the band was steady.
Yeah, steady. Until very recently, it's just been a couple of months since John Bose, our bassist, has left. He's actually shifted base. Is no longer in Calcutta.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I think we've been lucky. It's like buying a product and still having that warranty period to change your parts. And then you get a good part and then move on with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. But now I'll ask you, like, when you started off, who were your audiences?
It's the usual thing. It's first your friends and people who have known you for some time or have heard your songs.
So they were coming and listening.
So initially,
how did you get this national name and everyone coming to know who was Cassini's division, and how did that happen, like, for the first time maybe?
Yeah. The really big turning point came, and I must mention that we were all working at that point of time. We were not full-time musicians until when this incident I'm speaking about. There was something called the Darjeeling Carnival that was happening in Darjeeling district.
Which used to happen for quite a while.
Yeah, it happened for 3 years. I'm talking about this was the first year it was happening.
One,
Yeah, the first one.
In the year?
I think 2004.
2004.
Yeah.
Okay.
Towards the second half, I think it was it was the second half of 2004, And so they were contacting various bands from Calcutta because they wanted a band from the city also.
And original bands?
Yeah, it was not even, they were looking for bands.
Okay.
Well, I can't remember exactly why, but we ended up being selected as the band from Calcutta to go there and perform. And we had told them that we're going to perform almost an all original set. Except for a couple of Bob Dylan songs or something like that. And they were actually a little apprehensive about that.
Yeah.
Like it is in India, everywhere.
Yeah.
As it is, I'm talking about a time where original music in English from Calcutta was still not something that was very common. So anyway, we landed up in Kalimpong. We were under the impression that we were going to play for 100 or 150 people or something like that, like one normally does with a rock band. And we were shown a stadium, and we were told this is where you need to play, and that there are going to be thousands of people.
Okay.
So
this was the first time you were playing in front of maybe 1,000?
Yeah. We just moved on from 100 to a different scale altogether. And so we were, frankly speaking, also a little nervous because that's a really big leap to take in terms of the number of people.
This was happening in Darjeeling Mall?
No, this was happening in Kalimpong.
Oh, this was happening in Kalimpong.
Because it was happening throughout the district. We had to play in 3 places. Right. So, and when we got up, we started singing our songs, and we got a standing ovation with every song that we performed at that gig. From a crowd that must have been around between 5,000 to 7,000.
Very, very exciting show.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
And then we were told, in fact...
and playing your originals at,
Yeah. I think we did do a few covers there, but we've always been good at doing covers in our own way. So it wasn't really a cover, a Xerox song or something. Right. We had our own style in it, so it went down very well.
And you had a appreciative audience there, and
Yeah.
Well,
It was
appreciative is an understatement.
understatement.
They seem to like everything, and the surprising thing was at the end of that gig, and then the same thing repeated itself in Darjeeling town as well when we went the next day.
Okay.
And by word of mouth, people came and told us, we've already heard you're a really very good band. So it was after that we decided, when we came back to Calcutta, we thought maybe we're on to a good thing and we should give this a shot, and so we quit our jobs and became full-time musicians with the band Cassini's Division.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And talking about the name Cassini's Division, I had talked about it with you previously on a different show.
Right.
But again, I would ask you, like, why Cassini's Division?
Well, first of all, it sounded nice. It's absolutely superficial, to tell you the truth. I mean, there were a number of names that were being bandied about, and Cassini's Division had a nice ring to it. And then, of course, Shomik, his girlfriend, he was our bassist, and his girlfriend suggested the name, and she explained what it meant. Okay, and it had something to do with resonance, which in physics is the key to production of sound. And we thought, since we're a group of musicians, it sounds good, it means something, so let's stick with it.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, that's how it went. Yeah.
That's how it started off. Fantastic. So now, looking at music, 10 years back, looking at all of that music, and how would you say how much have you evolved, or what have you taken in all these years? Like, you were as you were a classic metal listener. So I will come to Rahul about that as well.
I think it's just been a very, very natural journey, and things just came with the flow. I always appreciated Rahul's songwriting. He's been a very major influence in my life musically, and I kind of, it took me years, but I then.
So if I ask you, like, who's your most influential songwriter for you? Who's you would say?
There are many, and then Rahul is always there. He's been a great influence songwriting wise. I could understand how to approach a song, and then he gave me inputs on a lot of other songwriters, and what I was saying is that it's such a natural process. It just happened so naturally that over the years it took me some time, but then I could really get into, a guitar player for a band has a very vital role to play. He has to get into the head of that songwriter and try and see the song through his eyes,
Fantastic.
and how he's thinking.
Yeah.
And I think after 7 or 8 years now,
I don't know how
Rahul just writes a song
that, actually.
and he tells me, Sukanti, I think do you like the lyrics? And I read the lyrics and I know exactly what he wants,
Fantastic.
And you can ask him, I think he thinks the
See,
same
I'd like
too.
to mention something here, which many people don't know. He's an excellent artist. He's a science fiction artist, and he has a great sense of the visual world. Right, and I think he's a perfect guitar foil for me, because unlike many guitar players who are just interested in picking up the instrument and wanking all day long, he has, I'm just saying this. This is a common problem.
Absolutely.
He gets into the lyrics of the song, the mood of the song, and what we try to do is paint a good picture and tell a story. And he's got a knack of being able to understand that very well. So also he is a unique guitar player in the sense that he works more texturally than in terms of, say, soloing or going out and playing like that. And that's just unique to him as a guitar player.
Fantastic. So like, when did the first album come out? Because before the album, you've already had so many compositions. You were ready, which you have been performing. Yeah. But then you selected a set of songs for the album. When did that happen? The whole procedure for the first album?
The whole procedure, it was simple, really. It's the album's 10 short stories. If you look at each of the songs as an individual short story that adds up to the original concept of the album, which is Ringside View, or a ringside view of life.
That's the name of the album.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how we thought that these 10 songs work together to tell a larger story. And also sonically, because they were mostly, a majority of them had some sonic similarity with each other. They could be placed next to each other on an album without really throwing the listener off. Though there are different types of songs at different tempos, but there is some sort of sonic unity.
Rumble, the song is from the album?
Yeah.
So could we have Rumble a little bit?
Sure.
Yeah.